Okay, everybody, right now we have an educational power meeting. I want to introduce to you Pat O'Brien. He's a Motive Power Specialist with Crown Battery, and he's going to be talking about how to improve your forecasting, extend battery life, and for the first time ever, measure ROI of your charging practices. Here's Pat O'Brien.
Thank you. Well, I'm Pat O'Brien. I'm the Director of National Accounts for the Industrial Division for Crown Battery. We talk to fleet managers every single day and talk to them about some of their challenges. And we've tried to put together programs and things to make their jobs a little bit easier, and a little bit better. And particularly, we want to go out and try to answer some of their questions. And one of the most important questions that they ask is, when should you replace batteries? It's very difficult to figure out when to replace a battery. A battery is just a big block of steel, lead, and plastic. How do I analyze that? We've got new tools out there in the way of electronic tools and monitors, but also just looking at utilization is really important. What we are trying to do is help our customers make better decisions. Do these battery problems relate to you, is kind of the question. Visibility is probably the number one. I'm looking at it, but I don't know when and what should I be doing, what would give me the best return for what I'm trying to get done, and where should I be sinking my money for batteries on it. Another thing that comes up is shortened lifespan. I'm now opportunity charging, and many of us are. We're up to 85% of the chargers that we sell now are opportunity charging. So if you're doing that and you're in 2 batteries or 3 batteries per truck, and you're down to 1 battery per truck, now your lifespan is different than it was before. So your replacement cycle is much different than it was before. How do I get that in the budget appropriately? That's one of the biggest challenges that we're seeing right now is budgeting. When I come back to it, it's still tough. When can I do the replacement? And it's not that the batteries are any poorly made, but they're just going to, when you reduce from 2 batteries or 3 batteries down to 1, it's just not going to last as many years or as many months as you would typically see in battery changing. So that is probably one of the biggest things that we're seeing right now, is that big change over to heavy opportunity charging and working through the budgeting aspect of that. You can't measure it. That's a big thing too, is if you can't measure it, how do you manage it? So what are the impact of my practices? It becomes even more important to do the watering, the equalization, make sure you've got good charging if you're in that opportunity charge mode, or if you've reduced your ratios very significantly. And I'll go back to number one. When I talk to our fleet managers and to the maintenance managers, batteries have become a budget killer. They're killing people's budgets right now. Maintenance people don't have enough information to be able to request for replacements. They're not consistent on this. So what we're trying to do is provide them with more information, because finance says you've got to give me reasons for me to give you money on this thing too. So those dollars that are required for batteries are the ones that we're trying to attach and try to figure out what are the ways that we can help you in the budgeting process. So making sure that we sync budgeting and demand is the big key on this thing too. Utilization as it changes, number of truck hours, reduced number of batteries, all those are big factors in making sure we've got a customer who can do appropriate budgeting. If you budget by failure, you're going to fail. If you just go out and wait until the battery is completely failed, now you have downtime, you've got productivity issues, and you certainly will have some rentals and additional costs that you were not looking forward to having. Once again, batteries can become budget killers if you don't start to manage them and do a better job of managing. We've created MoPro, which is a motive power review and optimization system. What we do is we have our people come out to our the fleets for our customers, and help do a review and then look at optimization. How can we get better? The big objective of this, number one objective, is better forecasting. We want our customers to be able to look at what their budgets are, be able to reconcile those budgets to demand and need, especially in this new changing environment. And the one big thing is we're going to help provide data that is actionable data. That's the thing that's been missing the most right now in the industry, is not having actionable data. Extending battery life If you have poor practices, your battery life is going to be shorter. Let's find best practices and do best things so that they are actually applied and can be quantified, because that's the next piece. Is if I make those changes, changes are expensive. If I put people on, if I go to an outside source to do battery watering, if I go ahead and set aside time to do equalization and make sure that's set aside, what is the return on investment for that? We're going to assist in that process. And then calculating the real cost, including some hidden costs, things that have to do with safety. What happens if you have an unsafe environment? What happens if you're not in compliant for OSHA? What happens if you're not in compliant for ANSI standards on it? So we'll help you get visibility to that so that you are in compliance and you don't have those additional hidden costs. And then potential improvements. What is the difference? What we've done is we've created analytics to say that if you do make these changes, here's what the cost will be. They'll be lower cost if you've made positive changes. If you don't do anything, here's what the analytics will look like, and this is what you can expect on this thing too. So even if you say we're not going to make any changes, this is when you can expect and need to do replacements. These are your expected costs over time going forward. MoPro, or the Motive Power Review and Optimization, once again is done by our team. We go out and analyze a number of different areas. We provide that information that looks at the batteries itself, the life, what you have from a cost standpoint, starts making recommendations right out of the gate, and then gives you the measurement, the ROI changing characteristics that will improve your business and help you reduce your costs. Schedule for replacements, that still comes back. This is number one on my list for what our especially large customers, the fleet managers, are looking for. How can I be effective to where I'm scheduling the cost or scheduling my budget to make sure that I have replacements at the appropriate time. I don't have the downtime that I have been seeing because of my change in how many pieces of equipment that I have, or since I've gone to opportunity charging. And then also calculating the impact. What happens if I go to opportunity charging, if I've been doing conventional? Things like what Andrew was talking about earlier. What is the impact if I go to lithium on this thing too? We'll help you with some of those decision-making tools. So chargers is one thing that kind of gets neglected on it. We do provide some real costs and give you some real evaluations to where you can look at what your power requirements are and what the differences would be if you make changes to your charging, especially looking at those infrastructure changes. The last point, I guess, is we've now done this in a couple of different industries. We've done it in retail, we've done it in grocery, and we think that benchmarking is probably one of the biggest ways that we can assist our customers. If you know where you stand, you may say, yeah, I'm doing a pretty good job, but if you find out that you're not doing as good as your competitors, you're at a cost disadvantage with your competitors. We want to drive home that you can be the best in your industry and that we can assist you and you can verify that. And that's what I have. Any questions? Okay, my name is Pat O'Brien. You can come up to me if you have any questions. There's a lot of folks sitting around here that have Crown Battery tickets on. You can all ask them or they can get you direct to me. Thank you very much.